それでは皆様お待たせいたしました。ただいまより国際防災の日スペシャルセッションを始めさせていただきます。ここからは内閣府のさやさん次官に司会をお願いしたいと思います。それではさやさん次官、どうぞよろしくお願いいたします。
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming to this special session on International Day for Disaster Reduction. I am Setsuko Saya from the Cabinet Office for Disaster Management Bureau. We would like to invite 4 panelists and a moderator. I will introduce our dear guest first, Dr. P.K. Mishra, Additional Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister of India. Mr. Akihiro Nakamura, Vice Minister for Policy Coordination from the Cabinet Office, Japan. Mrs. Gwendolyn Pan, Head of Country Cluster Supporter Team for China, Japan, Republic of Korea, and Mongolia from International Federation and Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. Mr. Tetsuo Kondo, Director from UNDP, Representative Office in Tokyo. And our today's moderator is Dr. Toshio Koike, Director, International Center for Water Hazard and Risk Management. We call it ICHAM. So please do it. So from now on, I would like to invite Dr. Toshio Koike for the moderating this session.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for your joining this session. In collaboration with 4 distinguished the panelists, we would like to discuss about our cooperative framework focusing on the self-help and also the mutual support and then coordination. So before the start of this session, today, October 13th, is the International Day for Disaster Reduction defined by the United Nations. So Mr. Guterres, the United Nations Secretary General, provide the message by saying this year International Day aims to highlight the need of the member states to improve data collection on disasters, including the comprehensive accounting of the economic losses. So, and he continued the economic loss, the economic loss by the disaster has the power to transform lives and they contribute greatly to the eradication of the poverty. So let us reaffirm our commitment to this vital endeavor. So this is the aim of today, but we will focus on the 2 aspects related to this target. So as I mentioned at first, this national conference, the common target is we need to share the importance of the self-help and the mutual support in addition with the public support. And the collaboration globally should be strengthened. And then we need to implement the Sendai framework. So under these key objectives, I prepared 3 key questions to panelists. So first one is what are the recent challenge through your experiences regarding the self-help and the mutual support? I would ask the Dr. Mishra and Mr. Nakamura to introduce the experiences in your country, India and Japan. And I would ask the Ms. Pan, you are working regionally, so through your experiences in the region, including the China, South Korea, and Mongolia and Japan. And could you please introduce your experiences? And Mr. Kondo, you are working globally, so such a global experiences we do expect from you. Second one is similar, but we would identify what is the most critical challenge in future. In the future, we may have a really serious and large-scale disaster. So under that condition, regarding to the self-help and the mutual support, in future, what kind of the challenge we need to make? So based on the national, regional, and the global experiences, could you please introduce your idea? And then lastly, with regard to the collaboration, how to work together with others at the national scale, with other stakeholders in your country, and at the regional scale, with the other country in the region, and globally, so many countries. So such kind of how to work together with others to prepare for the large-scale disaster. These 3 are the key questions. So, and starting, we would invite the Dr. Mishra for your presentation at first. Speak from here. Either way, as you like. Okay.
His Excellency Mr. Nakamura, Vice Minister of Policy and Coordination, Cabinet Office, Dr. Koike, Director, International Center for Water Hazards and Risk Management, Mr. Pang of the International Red Cross, Mr. Kondo, Director, UNDP, ambassadors from various countries, colleagues from different departments and ministries of Japan and other countries, ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted to be with you this afternoon at this special session on the International Day of Disaster Risk Reduction. The fact that you have included other countries in Japan's National Conference on Promoting Disaster Risk Reduction reflects the spirit of generosity with which you have shared your experience and knowledge with the rest of the world in the area of disaster risk management. I am sure that my delegation will benefit a great deal from participating in this event and would be able to borrow some ideas from here for our own national and subnational level efforts to promote disaster risk reduction. Japan's global leadership of disaster risk reduction effort is well recognized. All the 3 global framework, the Yokohama Declaration, the Hyogo Framework, and Sendai Framework, have resulted from Japan's relentless effort to forge a consensus around some of the core elements of a global disaster risk reduction strategy. Japan is a leading nation in terms of technological and innovation capabilities. This is also true for disaster risk reduction. Whether it is disaster-resistant building technologies or early warning systems, Japan is a global leader. But Japan's disaster risk reduction efforts are supported as much by the community-based approach as by its technological prowess. In this context, the theme of this event, self-reliance and mutual support, is very timely and relevant. Let me share some of my experiences in this regard. And before I go into that, as I mentioned, Japan has also a leading role in organizing community participation and self-reliance in disaster risk reduction. And today, when I was thinking about it, I remembered some book I had come across, I think more than 15, 16 years ago. That was a book written by a fireman of Japan, describing very graphically his experiences during the Kobe earthquake. He himself was in the task of having search and rescue after the Kobe earthquake of 1995. He has described his own traumatic experiences, and there he has documented how during the first few minutes and few hours, it was the community, the neighbor, the people around who helped the victims or the people who were affected, search and rescue, before others could come. And the same thing gets repeated again and again. I saw during the Gujarat earthquake of 2001 and many other earthquakes. So that role of community, role of self-reliance is extremely important in this context. And very recently, as we saw in India, in the first 2 weeks of August this year, unprecedented rainfall occurred in our coastal state of Kerala. This caused unprecedented floods. Some meteorologists and hydrologists have termed it as one in 100-year event, very unprecedented and unforeseen. The state and central governments, including the National Disaster Response Force, the Army, Navy, Coast Guard, and Air Force, mobilized a massive rescue and relief operation. Yet, it was the local fishing communities that were able to reach out first. Fishermen who normally deploy their boats on sea spontaneously mobilized rescue efforts using their own boats and their own resources. Their swift response was aided by their familiarity of the local conditions. Their early response also set the ground for success of the more institutional response of the state and the central government. Stories of self-reliance and mutual support are not limited to disasters in rural areas. After the urban floods of 2015 in Chennai, in the southern part of India, the affected neighborhoods organized themselves using social media and extended mutual support before external support arrived. Self-reliance at the community level not only enhances the speed, but also the efficiency of disaster response. I would like to repeat that self-reliance at the community level not only enhances the speed, but also the efficiency of disaster response. This is because however a country is well prepared at national level or even subnational level, when a disaster takes place, there is an element of surprise, an element of uncertainty, because there we have to act in a situation of uncertainty. We have to take decisions in a situation of uncertainty. It is not feasible to know when, in many cases, not in all cases, in many cases, when a disaster will take place, where it will take place. So because of this uncertainty, an institutional arrangement at the government or institutional level may not always reach immediately or instantaneously, but it is the community, it is the local people who can do so, and that's why the capacity building of the community is extremely important. While inaugurating the Asian Ministerial Conference on Disaster Risk Reduction in November 2016, which was a follow-up action we had initiated after the Sendai Conference and the Sendai Declaration, our Prime Minister outlined a 10-point agenda to implement the Sendai framework with a sense of urgency. One of the key points in his remarks was focus on self-reliance. In India, we recognize that however efficient the government response, there is no substitute for local self-reliance and mutual support. The sheer scale of our country and its risk profile necessitates this. Our policies and plans have to supplement, not supplant, the local effort, local initiative, and local knowledge. The government's role is to encourage and support local self-reliance and mutual support. In this spirit, 2 years ago, we launched a pilot program entitled Abda Mitra, or Disaster Volunteers, program in 30 of the most flood-prone districts. The program prepares and equips volunteers at the community level. Encouraged by the success of this pilot program, we now plan to roll out this program in all the flood-prone districts of the country. Similarly, our National School Safety Program aims to nurture self-reliance at the community level, especially among children. We are rolling out a national training program for first aid for students and teachers. This program is aimed at fostering self-reliance at every level. To conclude, I would like to say that self-reliance and community preparedness and community empowerment is key to successful response in the context of disaster risk reduction, and even not only for response, but also for mitigation efforts and for even recovery program. And as we have seen, and I gave the example of Japan Kobe earthquake, which was 95, a quarter century ago, and many such examples from those days, even today. The role of community is extremely important. And I once again compliment the organizers of this particular workshop to that focusing on community, which is a very key element in our efforts to make a disaster resilient system, a disaster resilience country, and a disaster resilient community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mishra, for your introduction, your experiences in your country, in Kerala, and also some program of the 2016, and how much the effective of the empowerment of the community for promoting the resilient society. Thank you very much. Next, Mr. Nakamura, please.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Nakamura, Vice Minister of Cabinet Office, and it's my great pleasure to be here and share our experience from many people. So first of all, on behalf of the organizers, I'd like to thank all participants for coming to these sessions. It's my great pleasure. Well, as you know, Japan suffered from various disasters, such as heavy rains or earthquakes for long years in history. Actually, very recently, we had tremendous damages caused by heavy rains and big earthquakes in June or July. And also, very big, strong typhoon came to Japan in this month as well. In addition, it is predicted, it's expected or predicted that in the future, in the near future, huge earthquakes, namely Nankai Trough earthquake or Tokyo inland earthquake will happen. I don't want to believe this, but it is to some extent, it is predicted. So under these situations, it is very urgent for us to enhance our capability to deal with this kind of very big disasters. So I think the key concept of disaster management is the collaborations among three factors, as Dr. Mishra mentioned. First one is the action by the government, and secondly, self-help, and thirdly, the mutual support. So these three factors are very important. So today, I will focus on the self-help and mutual support. But before that, I briefly talk about what will be the framework of the government policies regarding the disaster management. Japan's disaster management is based on a basic act on disaster management, and also the basic framework of the disaster management in Japan is decided by a big body, which is the National Council on Disaster Management. And Prime Minister and all state ministers will join this meeting. And also, Japan has a disaster management plan, a very broad basic plan, and various measures are implemented based on this plan. So this is a very big pictures of government, national government level disaster management. So today, as I said, I will focus on self-help and mutual support, and I'll explain some of our experiences. Okay, so could you see the panel one? Yeah. This panel shows the very basic strategy to enhance awareness and promote cooperations for disaster risk reductions by self-help and mutual support. So there are three strategies. The strategy one is the disseminations of knowledge. People need to know the basic ideas or basic informations. And strategy two is invite more participants to these communities or this kind of management. And strategy three is a collaborations among participants. So now I will focus on the strategy three, which is a collaborations among many people, participants, maybe in the community level. So can you show the panel two? Okay, this is the chart shows the concept of disaster management. Actually, we have four kinds or four tiers of disaster management plans. The first one, the top one, is the government national level. We have the basic disaster management plan in national level. And the second one is local disaster management plan, which is mainly based on the prefectures among Japan. And the third one, the yellow one, is the local disaster management plan, which is mainly decided by municipalities, a lot of municipalities, cities or towns or villages in Japan. And these plans must be formulated by law, so it's very specific one. So now, I focus on the fourth one, actually the red one, which is community levels, community disaster management plan. Actually, this community disaster management plan system started in very newly in 2016, quite new. And also, formulating this plan, this community disaster management plan, is not necessarily the must. But it is encouraged to formulate this plan by law, and also it is actually formulated very voluntarily. So the basic idea is that, as Dr. Mishra mentioned, it is more effective to formulate the disaster management plan in a very small community level, because, as you know, people know each other well, and people know the risk, the real risk of the particular communities, and also it is easier to help each other. So based on this, we are now promoting the formulations of community disaster management plan. So as for the relations between yellow one and pink one, actually, the relation between local disaster management plan and community disaster management plan, there is a link between the two, and people in a community can propose the idea to the municipalities that they live, and then their proposals could be reflected in the local disaster management plan in the municipalities. So there is a link between municipalities levels and community level. This is a very important one, I think. So today, as I said, I mainly focused on the community level, but the reason to focus on this community disaster management plan today is that it actually works very well. As I said, this system started in 2016, but now at this moment, more than 3,700 community disaster management plans has been formulated. And also, Cabinet Office is now trying to increase this. So we are trying to help to formulate this kind of plan. So now I'll show you some examples of this community levels disaster plan. So could you turn to the panel 3? Okay. There are some panel 3, please. Okay, thank you. So there are some examples of community levels plan. So here I show the 4 examples. So for example, on the left, upper left circle and diagonal pictures, this is the case of Gifu prefectures. Yeah, okay. So actually, this area had a very this area had the evacuation evacuation site formulated by the local levels disaster management plan, a kind of a formal evacuation site. This is shown in the blue circle. Blue circle. That is the evacuation site decided by the local levels government. In addition, this area has their own community levels disaster management plan, and based on this area, they had another temporary evacuation site, which is shown in the red circle. So actually, this area has two evacuation sites. One blue one is a local level, and red one is the community level. So what happened? Actually, there was a very big flood in this area. So in that case, actually, it was very difficult to go evacuate to the blue point, the former evaluation site, because there was a very heavy, these places and the roads shown in dot was very heavily damaged. So actually, it was very difficult to evacuate to the evacuation site decided by local level. So, but in this case, this area has another temporary site, which is a red one. So people could go to the temporary evacuation site, which is formulated by the Community Disaster Management Plan. So this is one example, but this is a very example to show that Community Disaster Management Plan, which was formulated in the community level, worked very well to help people. This is one example. And also we have some examples. Today I don't mention everything, but for example, in the left bottom chart, this is a case of Fukuoka prefectures, actually a very specific Asakura city. So actually this city formulated a disaster management plan map and distributed it to all the households. So this map made by these local communities shows the evacuation site and also an evacuation route very precisely. So actually when very heavy rains happened in this area, this map was very helpful, and it is said that this map reduced the damages very substantially. And also, right bottom chart, this is a case of Tokushima prefectures. This is a case of collaboration between community level and company level. So in this area, residents in this area and farm company work together to formulate the community disaster management plan. They work together. So actually, workers and workshops and also the evacuation drills were jointly implemented by factory workers and residents of the city. So this is one example of how collaboration between community level and farm level is very important. So this is some example. So under this, having said, we Cabinet Office encourages to formulate this kind of community disaster management plan, and we are trying to help to formulate it. Because, as I said, I think that the community level's cooperation is very, very important and very useful. So this is the main experience I'd like to talk today. But lastly, I briefly touch upon international issues. Thank you. Our disaster management is based on Sendai framework for disaster risk reductions, and we'll continue our effort to cooperate with other countries. So today, in this panel, Dr. Mishra from India came. And actually, India is a very important partner for us based on the memorandum of cooperation between India and Japan. So it's very great honor for us to today we have a discussion here. And also, International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, and also UNDP, they also contribute to the disaster management globally and internationally. So I'd like to thank for them. So based on this, well, I'd like to do my best, do our best, and then collaborate with these international communities to make our societies more safer and better. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nakamura, for your introduction to the new approach for encouraging the community by develop the structure of the community-based disaster management plan, which should be consistent to the municipality level disaster management plan and identify as a part of such a plan. And the international collaboration with India or other international agencies, and Japan will implement the Sendai framework. Thank you very much. So next, Ms. Pan, please introduce from standpoint of the regional coordination.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to our distinguished speakers, to our moderator, and to each and every one of you. So my presentation will be focusing more on the work of the Red Cross, how we work with other partners, and also some of our contributions to the DRR. So most of my presentations will be focusing on Asia-Pacific work of the Red Cross. So first, I would like to introduce the Red Cross. I think most of you know the Red Cross. Maybe I would just like to emphasize the reach of the Red Cross, which is now we have 191 Red Cross Red Crescent societies, and then we are present in 169 branches all over the world. It means that we are part of the community. We are not, we're not just an implementer there, but the Red Cross is like part of the community. We are local, at the same time we are global. And then we have 14 million volunteers, our workforce, that help us deliver our works on the ground. And then, of course, since funds are really hard to come by, we focus on the most vulnerable. So these are the 8 focus of areas where we are working. And if you can see, disaster reduction is number 1 of our focus area. So just to share with you, in terms of our key data for DRR, so this is what we have reached. We have reached 139 countries, expenditures of 254 million. We have a graph of increasing investment on DRR over the years. And we have projects that funded by this amount of money, 519, sorry. And then the expenditure per capita is 5.3 Swiss francs. So that's how we calculate our work. And what are our approach? Our approach to DRR, we make sure that people is at the center of what we're doing. They are the core. People that we work with are the core of what we're doing, of what we do in DRR. We help build capacities at all levels, from even in the international level, national, regional, down to the village level or up. It can be a top-down or bottom-up approach that we are doing with in the community for capacity building. And then we also make sure that it's a well-rounded capacity building, not just focusing on one area. And also, we work on strengthening disaster risk governance. In many countries now, we are supporting disaster-related laws, like disaster risk management law for domestic laws. We also are supporting international disaster response law, or any laws that are related to disaster risk reduction. Recently, we have supported the law in Mongolia for volunteering in disaster. Then we make sure that what we do is actually integrated into the development, sustainable development plan or framework. And then all what we do, we make sure that there's a strong coordination. We just don't do it by ourselves. We make sure that we engage the government, we engage other stakeholders, to include, even other organizations, and of course the people that we are working with on the ground. So we want to make sure that what we do has local ownership. Then invest, of course, in resilience. And then we look at things on a long-term perspective. So whatever we invest today should yield a long-term result, or long-term, a more durable solution. So I highlighted this. Of course, Red Cross is promoting a culture of self-help and mutual support. This is what we always do. Then we work in partnership. We cannot do the work alone. We know that. We always make sure that we work in partnership at all levels. Then we make sure also in DRR, it should be a multi-sectoral and cross-cutting. And also we have to innovate if needed. Then in our work, our principle is that we should be able to measure, monitor the achievements or accomplishments or the implementation, evaluate and share, whatever result. That's why we're sharing also many of our case studies here, results of our work, and I will mention that in a while. So how do we work? We work in the whole cycle disaster continuum. We just don't focus on preparedness, just don't focus on recovery. We make sure that we focus on the whole cycle of disaster continuum. And these are our frameworks. So in every national society, they have legal mandate in every country. That is the basis, the legal base of the work of every Red Cross, Red Crescent in every country. And if you can see there, the disaster risk management, disaster reduction is a big part of that function of every Red Cross, Red Crescent societies in their respective countries. And then in our strategy, it is also there written that disaster risk management or disaster reduction is a main part of our work. And of course, we support all global commitments, from the Sendai Framework of Action to SDGs to the Paris Climate the platform, and also the AMCDRR, which was recently concluded in Mongolia. Aside from that, we also have our own guidance, that we make sure it's in place. So I will not go to all of this, but if you can see, we have framework for community resilience, we have framework for roadmap. We have roadmap to resilience. Make sure that we also have communications guidance, in the work for disaster reduction. And then we are also looking into urban resilience. We will have a new roadmap to urban resilience that will come out. Because it's totally different, as we work in the rural and urban setting. And public awareness, we also have guidelines. We have minimum standard for gender protection and inclusive. So it's there. All of this, I will not go to that. But I want to get your focus on the middle document that we have produced. This is from the Japanese Red Cross that they're leading. So this is the nuclear radiological emergency guidelines, so that we have in place in case of nuclear disaster preparedness. And they're very active in doing that. So this is our roadmap to urban resilience. It's in the making. We're in consultation phase now. Soon it will be presented. So as you can see, this part on the right side is, or on your left side, is actually the key urban issues. And then on the right is, the roadmap that we recommend how we will work for urban. I will not really go through this, but I just would like to focus on the second part of the slide, which is the action plan. What do we have to do in the Red Cross, Red Crescent? We will increase our investment for sure on DRR, or we continue to invest on DRR towards achieving resilience. We will integrate, we make sure that our approach is integrated and holistic when we roll out the roadmap for community resilience. We want to make sure that we strengthen communication and advocacy to community resilience, because we have findings, we have studies, but many of these were not shared on the ground. So we want to make sure we have to be accountable, that this should be shared in the language that they can understand. So, and not only that, we would also want to improve, and we want to be better in translating scientific languages to layman's terms, so the lay people can understand what it means to them, and that it will help them decide in preparing for large-scale disaster. Also, one of our action plan there is to make sure that we have active engagement in the Sendai framework of action for DRR, SDG, the Paris Agreement, so on and so forth. All the global commitments, we have to make sure that we have active involvement. Okay, so our work on DRR. So we believe that, in people power, that people should be the center of our work. In whatever we do, we always make sure that we work with the people on the ground. In reducing risk and strengthening resilience, every level, is a participatory in journey. So we make sure that the people on the ground are involved, well consulted in our disaster resilience work. And if you can see, I want to share with you how we do that. In Philippines, we have this Red Cross 143 program. By the way, I think from my tone, I'm a Filipino. I cannot hide. When you saw my name in the program, it's Pang. Maybe you think I'm a Chinese. So according to the Indian ambassador who is around, he's Ambassador Chinoy. So I'm a Chinoy also. This is just to break the ice. Huh? So I'm a Chinese Filipino. So anyway, I'm from the Philippine Red Cross. I was one who started doing this when I was still there before I joined the IFRC. So the concept of this one is, to focus on community by mobilizing volunteers. So in every village, we have 42,000 villages in Philippines. In every village, we would like to have 44 people on the ground to be ready and prepared for disaster. That will give us 1.8 million volunteers that will support and help in reducing the risks or responding to emergency. So if you can see here, the volunteers are very well engaged. We don't even need to mobilize them because they themselves are they come together when there's disaster. If any typhoon will come, they're prepared. They give early warning. They prepare the evacuation center. They give psychosocial support in case evacuation has started. They prepare relief goods. So this is the whole idea of it. So their role is actually to prepare, to know, report, respond, relief, and recover. This is like a self-help culture that we have built in the whole country. So that's why in any disaster where there's an alarm or what, we course it through the people on the ground. So they give the message, to the community people. And they know who are their neighbors. They know who are the most vulnerable. They know who are the elderly that they have to save. This is the work also of self-help is also mutual help to help, others. Not only that, this is since by village. If one village is affected, the other village will come and support the affected village. This is also the concept of mutual support or mutual help. In Japan, so Japan is training very young kids. This is under the Safer School program. in school, from teachers to retired teachers, volunteers, Red Cross staff members. They come together and teach the students. This started in 2015. Today, they have trained over 100,000 school children on DRR, or preparing for emergencies and crises. And this is working very well. And this is preparing as young as kids in school to have this reflects on them. If there's disaster, they know what to do already. Not only that, if you can see in many of the statistics, children actually are the most vulnerable in many emergencies. That's why we are focusing so much also on school safety program. And if you look at that part, that they also produce a handbook on this. And then also in Japan, the Japanese Red Cross is very active in supporting, the elderly, adult members of the community, or the vulnerable members of the community in helping them understand DRR and also preparing them for large-scale disasters. So they also have the chance or opportunity to express or share their previous experiences on disaster. So this has been ongoing since 2016, and today they have already trained nearly 30,000 volunteers or the layman. And this is actually, the concept of this is training of trainers, also training others, not just receiving the training. Okay. And then, of course, we have a youth-led action. This is from Southeast Asia. 11 countries had signed up to a safer school training. So we have also exchanges made, example, from countries that are prone to earthquake. So they learn from other countries as well, how to prepare, how to save themselves in case of an emergency or crisis. So this is what we're doing heavily. Then in Mongolia, you can see in this picture, actually you cannot see a house. It's so scattered. So we cannot go and rescue them. We cannot go and check on them every now and then. So we engage the herders, the local peoples in anticipating, reducing the impact and avert disasters, especially on extreme winter condition. So winter is very harsh in Mongolia. They can go, the climate can go as below as 50 degrees Celsius. So it is important that if they know that a winter is harsh coming, they know what to do. So this is also engaging the local community and then also empowering them to decide and think. So we are giving them some support. Attached to this program, we have the forecast-based financing, which is using science in making decisions. So if we know that this season, summer, the drought is very dry, probably winter can be harsh. So now they know they can prepare. So then this one also is participatory campaign. This is in Nepal from women. So it is important that we include, everyone in our work, not just making sure that we engage local people, we engage, we promote self-help, but we also consult people on how to make DRR plan in the community. And then not only that, some of the community people that we disregard all the time or we forget is actually the tourists, those people who are not from the place, or children or elderly. So we make sure there's a participatory approach in the work that we do. So this one is having a seat on the table. So sometimes the decision makers are only officials. I'm sorry to say that. We forget about the people who will benefit from the help that we will give. So this one is getting local people to be part of the decision-making table and decide on how to design the local resilience in the community. So then this one is also people that we work with are not just receiving support from us, they can also be part of our work. So this is from the Japanese Red Cross as well. So this is about partnership. So the Japanese Red Cross have partnership with the Tohoku University and Harvard Universities in the online archive of their information on this nuclear disaster preparedness. This is a very good cooperation or collaboration, an example that we're doing that we are sharing information. There's so much rich information there, and through this partnership, we can have more reach. There are more people who can access, the records and files of disaster preparedness in Japan through the Japanese Red Cross. This one is a partnership with Zurich, wherein we do some flood preparedness program for them using using case studies from universities that they have engaged. And this one is strengthening disaster risk governance. So I mentioned that. We're doing a lot of IDRL work. This is an example of regional cooperation that we do. We have signed an agreement with ASEAN. We have a joint target to reach 100 million people to be resilient by 2025 through different works, maybe first aid, through disaster reduction work, health promotion, to make them resilient. This is an example of our work in Southeast Asia that we also have a joint partnership. So, and this is I would like to use this as my last slide. Okay, this is how we work in the Red Cross, Red Crescent. We also do our internal collaboration. So we have a system of mobilizing human resources. We have a system of mobilizing materials and equipment. We have a system of mobilizing funds. We have a system of also ensuring, that what we do is up to standard. So those are it. And this is the Resilience Center. I'll, maybe you can share the presentation and everybody can take a look at that. We have the Resilience Center in Korea. That's all. And maybe I'll share this later on the discussion challenges on DRR. Thank you.
Okay.
Because I don't have time left.
Thank you, Ms. Pan. Your introduction of the IFRC's activity, including it's 10 approaches. They are really consistent to the topic today, and the action framework and strategy. It's very informative and introduction to the various actions actually. So a future challenge, could you please introduce the next round? Okay, thank you. So Mr. Kondo, could you please make a presentation?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tetsuo Kondo. I'm working in United Nations Development Program, Representation Office in Japan. As a UN staff, UNDP staff, I've been engaged in different countries on the disaster risk reduction and also the reconstruction and recovery process from the disaster. And since I'm responsible for the relationship with Japan, and then I see slightly more Japanese people in the room, I would like to speak in Japanese. 今日は国民、防災大会お招きいただきまして大変に光栄に感じております。皆さんご存知かと思いますが、この、私が作っておりますこのピンですね、SDGs、持続可能な開発目標、今日本では企業でも、大学でもまた政府をはじめとしてですね、多くの方がこの2030年までの持続可能な開発目標を、いろんな活動のですね、目標にしていらっしゃいます。なぜ持続可能な開発目標を定めたかと申しますと、このままいくと持続可能ではないからです。持続可能ではないことの最大の原因は災害です。また戦争です。こういった自然あるいは人災による災害がですね、私たちの築き上げてきた富を、命を一瞬にして奪ってしまうという状況をいかにそういったリスクを減らすかということがある意味 SDGs の大きな目標の一つでございます。 UNDP は全世界170の国でこういった開発のプログラムを進めておりまして、この防災というのはですね、UNDP の優先プログラムの一つになっております。ガバナンス、国づくり、貧困削減、それから気候変動、ジェンダーの平等、そういったですね、課題の中でこのレジリエンスを高める、災害に対する備えをきちんとやっていくということがですね、UNDP の活動の大きな一つのこの優先課題になっております。なんでかと申しますとですね、今日ここでは日本の内閣府の防災担当部局の方々とインドの政府の防災担当のですね、最もシニアな責任者の方が来ていらっしゃいます。またそのインドの代表団の中には、かつて私が UNDP の別の部局で防災を担当したときに一緒に働いた仲間もいます。ある意味今日私ご説明するのは全て彼が作ったものですので、何か疑問がありましたら、後ほど紹介しますので、そちらにご質問いただけるといいかもしれません。このようにですね、日本とインドがここでプレゼンをやるということは非常に UNDP にとって大きな意義のあることです。なぜかと申しますと、日本とインドは世界の194の国連加盟国の中で最も防災に関する取り組みが進んだ国だからです。3回の国連防災世界会議が過去にありましたが、その3回とも日本で行われているというのをお気づきでしょうか。3回目は2015年の仙台防災世界会議でした。このことを見てもですね、日本がいかに自然災害が多かったか、それによってですね、命を失う方、財産を失う方が多かったか、そしてまた国を挙げてそういった災害に取り組むということがいかに大切かということを、身をもって体験した国の中でも最も進んだ国であるということが言えます。UNDP はそのような日本のですね、この防災の技術やノウハウ、知識、経験を最大限に現在活用させていただいております。普段私たちがやっていることっていうのはここにありますが、一つはですね、この防災のための政策の企画立案、それからそういった政策を実施する能力をつける、例えば予算措置を取っていただくとか、あるいは実際に防災に必要な法律を整備するとか、そういったですね、ノウハウをですね、例えば日本には立派な災害対策基本法がありますが、これは各国がモデルとして採用しているところでございます。そのような各国の先進事例を UNDP は集めまして、そこまで行ってない国に提供しているというのが私たちの仕事です。特にですね、その防災の政策って一体何じゃらということなんですけども、具体的にはですね、ここにいくつか挙がってますけども、一つは常日頃このリスク管理という考え方を行政においても会社の経営においても農業においても、またその学術研究の中においても最も重要なファクターとして学んでいくということですね。また取り入れていくということです。それから災害や損失のデータを各国で集めて、それを活用する。多くの人は災害に遭うのが大体初めてです。そういった時にどうやってこの危機を乗り越えていったらいいのか、この復興のですね、苦しみを乗り越えていったらいいのか、それに必要なデータというのがですね、不可欠です。それを揃える。それから発災後の復旧のですね、 に関するこの準備、復旧はですね、発災前から、普段からどうやって復旧するかということを計画しておかないとなかなかできません。また防災の備え、今回のこの国民会議でですね、国民大会で多くの方が学んでおられると思います。それからレジリエンス、これは社会そのものの災害に対する強さです。ジェンダー配慮、これはそのレジリエンスの一つだと思います。先ほどパンさんが、赤十字の活動として紹介しておられた女性の災害に備えたコミュニティでの、準備というのは、これはですね、女性がいざという時にはですね、やっぱり大きな力を発揮されるし、もし女性の発言権がなかったら、そのコミュニティというのは災害に一発でやられてしまうと、その後多くの人が立ち直れないということの実証です。また、気候変動に対する対応、今年の夏は、記録的な猛暑でした。また、記録を破る数の大きな台風が日本を何度も縦断しました。気候は変動しています。これをどうやってこの災害に生かしていくか、また、いざその災害、損失があったときにそれをどうやって救償していくのか、補っていくのかという、保険制度ですね、インシュアランス。これはですね、日本が大きな、市場を持ち、また技術を持っています。こういった、知識、経験、ノウハウをですね、各国に提供させていただくというのが今の UNDP の取り組みの一つです。で、そこで大事になりますのが、この、サウスサウスコーポレーション、南南協力と言っておりますけれども、例えば、今インドネシアのですね、スラベシで大きな災害があった後、地震があった後、たくさんの方が亡くなっております。また、その数以上の行方不明者がまだ見つかっておりません。こういった状況にですね、素早く対応しておられるのがインド政府です。インド政府はですね、ご自身の経験、先ほどミシラ補佐官の方から紹介されたようなインド自身の経験を即座にこういった被災地に提供しているという、こういったですね、開発途上国同士のですね、協力というものも UNDP の大きな支援の対象の一つです。このような活動の中で、多くの国で実際に災害があった時の復興需要調査を行ったり、また災害対策の法制度支援などを行ってきました。こういったですね、成功がなぜかできたかというと、やはり各国のその防災の知識を持った専門家と国連職員であるとないとにかかわらず、また官民を問わずネットワークを構築していくということが、成功の秘訣であると考えております。そういった協力の一つの例としてですね、どういったところと協力しているかというと、当然他の国連機関、それから今日おいでの、国際赤十字のパンさんのいらっしゃる人道機関、またそれ以外にもですね、ここにありますように各国の政府、それから民間企業、それから学術機関と協力をしております。こういった協力の一つのですね、実例をちょっとご紹介します。これはですね、日本が津波に過去に何度もやられたその経験を生かして、学童、子どもたち、生徒たちのですね、避難訓練の、火事に対してもそうですけども、どこの学校でも避難訓練は日本でやるのは当然なわけですけども、これ当然じゃない国がいっぱいあります。そういったところに避難訓練どうやって普段から計画したらいいか、準備したらいいかということを、ノウハウを提供する、そういうプロジェクト、これは日本政府に資金をいただいて実施し、18の国でやったことないこの子どもたちが避難訓練に取り組んでおります。また、今日もこの会場にもおいでになっていますが、日本の東北大学、こちらの災害科学国際研究所がですね、世界でも有数の災害に関するデータ のですね、分析をされています。これに、民間企業からですね、ぜひにということで、富士通株式会社さんが参加をされて、先ほど申しました災害のデータの提供をクラウドを通じてやっていただいております。こういった国連と学術機関と民間企業との三者連携の非常に重要な成功例です。他にもですね、私たち災害の専門家をですね、防災の専門家を各国に派遣して同じようなお手伝いをしております。カドリとかあります、キャパシティデベロップメント for Disaster Risk Reduction ですね。そして、先ほど言いましたように立法支援をやり、保険制度設計をお手伝いし、さまざまな活動をしてきているわけですが、その中で、浮き彫りになってきた課題というのがございます。ここに、いくつか英語で書いてございますが、後ほどの、議論の中でまたご紹介してまいります。私のお話は以上でございます。ご清聴ありがとうございました。
Thank you very much, Mr. Kondo, for your introduction to the activity by India and Japan up to now, and those countries' contribution to the disaster risk reduction in the world, and the UNDP's strategy and success story. That is some part of the success story depends on the partnership. Your introduction to some example, the data and the capacity building. Thank you. Thank you very much for your presentation. Okay, we have now the full presentation, and as I mentioned at first, we would focus on the two aspects. One is the self-help and mutual support. And for promote this management, what is the critical action to be taken at the national scale and the regional scale and the global scale? That is first the question. And the second one, how to collaborate together with others, as I mentioned. But could you please summarize your idea very sharply? We have now the 15 minutes, so I do expect 2 or 3 minutes for each, and if we have enough time, I would ask some comment or question from the floor. So to question the critical action to be taken for development of the the self-help and mutual support in a society, and how to collaborate with others at each scale, each level, which should be promoted very strongly. Okay, 2 or 3 minutes, please.
Thank you, Chair. I will make 4 statements in the form of 4 bullet points. Number 1, it is now well established that for effective disaster management, we need to empower, prepare, and develop the skill of community. So that is now well settled. Otherwise, we cannot effectively respond or mitigate disaster risk. Number 2, lot of ideas and technological innovations have taken place, but the major challenge is how to actually operationalize in the field, say sub-district level, lower level, or even at the village level and community level. In this case, national governments have to organize very effective program. There are, of course, very successful examples in Japan, in India, and other areas. For example, in India, I gave 2-3 examples, that school safety program or this disaster volunteers. And there are other examples, for example, after the Gujarat earthquake, because I was overseeing the large-scale recovery program for over 3 years. At every level, the community was involved, not only response level. For example, reconstruction of houses, the community was involved. Assessment of damage, community was involved. So there are some examples. And the National Disaster Management Authority of India, they have prepared very detailed guidelines on community preparedness and community empowerment, but that needs to be operationalized at the subnational level and local level. So that is an area where we need to focus. Then the third point I would like to make is that there is a lot of scope for cooperation, regional cooperation, say with, for example, some years ago, in collaboration with UNDP, there is a program of CBDM, Community-Based Disaster Management Program, where in each village, some 4 to 5 groups were formed, groups of say 5, 6, 7 people, one for early warning. If there is some cyclone, early warning at the national level by the meteorological department, how to reach it last mile to the people. So early warning, response, then search and rescue, recovery, like that some groups were formed, and that was very successful. So similar efforts for cooperation is required. And the last point I would like to make, that bilateral cooperation, for example, between different countries. Japan has a lot of experience and capabilities, and they are the type of community preparedness they have that other countries can learn. Similarly, India has some experiences which can be shared with many other countries. So these are the 4 critical points I would like to make at this stage.
Okay, thank you very much. So empower and make the community prepare. The community power should be empowered and make a maximum use of some innovative science and technology in society. And the regional cooperation, coordination, collaboration should be strengthened. Okay, thank you very much. So, Mr. Nakamura.
Thank you, Chair. Actually, the 2 questions are so difficult. So my answer is not so clear, might not be so clear, but I'd like to say 2 things from a more broader perspective. The first one is that what will be the critical actions? Well, as we know, the power of a community is very important. And in the case of Japan, very luckily, I think that the community levels, the power of communities, small communities, has been very strong in Japan. Many people know each other, and many people help each other. But recently, the situation has been changing. In particular, in the big cities like Tokyo or Osaka, many people, the town is very crowded, and many people are, how should I say, more live independently. So they don't know each other. They know their neighborhood. So in a sense, I think that the revitalizations of communities itself is a very important issues for us. And also, Japan is now facing a very population problem, because population is shrinking and aging is very rapidly. So in that sense, I think that in order to, not only for disaster issues, but also from a more broader sense, I think that we should something to rebuild the communities' identity, the power of communities in every cities and villages and towns. This is one thing. And the other thing is that regarding the collaborations, but I would say that as a slightly different perspective, I'd like to say that the collaboration between disaster management policies and other areas of policy issues, for example, economic policies or science and technology issues or environmental issues. There are many departments in government. One of them will be in charge of economic policies, and the others might be in charge of environmental programs, and the other might be in charge of technologies or science. But these many areas should be linked, because the total goal of this disaster management is how to make our world and our business safer and better and prospective. So I think that we should focus not only the disaster management itself, but also we should see this problem from a more broader sense. So in that sense, I think that the government should combine these areas and think we should think very broadly. I think that is a very important thing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Your point is very important with regard to the first point. The urbanization and aging make community power weak. We need to understand that change, and then empower the community to considering that situation. And the second one is the interdisciplinary, beyond the discipline. Not only in the world of the disaster risk reduction, but we need to cooperate and work together with other stakeholders. Okay, thank you. Ms. Lam, please.
Thank you. I would like to summarize the points on 5 points for the mutual support and self-help. How are we going to scale that up? I mean, what's the critical decision or action that we're going to do? I would like to recommend number 1 is to focus on high-risk areas. You know, there are so many high-risk areas that are not being attended to. So why don't we focus on high-risk areas and focus the building mutual support and self-help culture in those areas? Number 2, identify real good sound practices, okay, and scale up. It's not just about doing small piece of work, but we have to scale up. So identify best practice and scale up if we want to really if we want to address that. Then number 3 is maybe we can explore innovation, technology, or maybe even use artificial intelligence in linking to the users of mutual support or self-help, you know, how we're going to link to them. I think we have to do that because, you know, by us doing it manually, when are we going to finish the work? So I think we have to make use of technology or advance, whatever it can offer us there that we can link to the people on the ground. Then, mutual support is and self-help is very or highly regarded. It's being used, commonly, and even in the neighboring countries. However, this is not, and this is all mostly driven by volunteer system. The observation is that it has not been well supported or incentivized by the DRM institutions from the national or local level. So if we don't recognize that, the chances of duplication, the chances of also not putting that as part of the system is not good. It has to be part of the system, like an SOP. We always say self-help, mutual respect, but it's not part of the system. I don't know if you get what I mean. So it has to be part of, even in the SOP of the community. So it has to be recognized, it has to be incentivized. So, and then my last point is on I think I said all for, is my last point is on identifying and supporting champions, okay? So there are a lot of champions, but they're not supported, or we don't identify them. So I think these are the critical things that we have to, if we want to push these things forward. And then on the collaboration, regional collaboration, I would like to propose that, or suggest that let us finance a regional platform that will focus only on mutual help, self-help, and collaboration. Because we talk so much on many, many things, but we're not focusing ourselves. So maybe let's come up with a platform, a forum that will focus on these three things that we want to do. Okay? And then another recommendation I would like to do on the collaboration is to have a regional platform like the ASEAN. In the ASEAN, all the ASEAN members, they have this AHA Center. The AHA Center is providing this support to all members, ASEAN member societies in terms of preparedness, response, lessons learned, and whatever. So maybe there should be more and more regional platform that can be, that can support this initiative. And then regional tools and standards. I think we have to, number three, we have to improve communication. We have to share what we have. There's so many, even us in the Red Cross, go to our website, please check. We have so many things there. Make use of that, because that has been we have invested so much time and effort there. What I've shown earlier are actually case studies on risk reduction work on the ground, and they have even explanation on lessons learned, what went well, what went wrong. So you can make good use of that. So I think there should be a repository of all of this knowledge and learning on a regional level that easily we can go and pick up and check and see. So those are the three things that I would like. Oh, so I have one more. For the regional level, regional cooperation, to cooperate, I think we can start with mapping of experiences, mapping of resources, and mapping of capacities. And if we can map that, like as a country who is in need of knowledge, maybe on earthquake preparedness, and if they can see how it's being done in other countries, then they can check on that. So these are the four things I would like to propose under the collaboration. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. It's a little bit difficult for me to take note of everything, but the first part, you emphasize the empower the South capacity. Empower the South capacity. I could not follow.
The first one, it's we have to focus on the. Is it on the mutual support? On the mutual support, we have to focus on high-risk areas. Do the work first on high-risk areas.
Okay.
And then number two, scale up,
Oh, yeah.
pick up, identify best practices, and scale up. This work on mutual support and self-help. Then number three is on integrating that to the mutual help and self-help culture. Integrate that in the SOPs when we do response, because oftentimes they are not being given attention to, or not being used. And then another one is to use innovations or technologies on linking our work to mutual support and self-help. So those are the four recommendations on the first one. On the second one is to have a platform for discussion, for cooperation on these three topics that we discussed today: mutual support, self-help, and also the collaboration, regional, national, or even international collaboration. And then another one is to map the experience, the capacity, resources of each country, and let's see how we can match the needs and the capacity together. And then the third one is to standardize many of our tools, response tools, preparedness tools, whatever it is. Maybe we can standardize that, okay? And that can be a collaboration that we can do, you know, for country to country. And I think the champion, number 4, is actually under here to identify regional collaborator champions and support them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And lastly, Mr. Kondo, please.
はい。一般の方の聴衆の方も増えていらっしゃいましたので、これさえ知ってれば大丈夫という、2点だけ申し上げたいと思います。まず一つは、セルフヘルプ、ミューチュアルサポートということで今お話がありましたけども、自ら災害の時に自分の命を守っていくことができるかどうかというのは、その方がお住まいの、コミュニティですね、地域の中で、どんな生活が営まれているかということによります。つまり SDGs、先ほど来申し上げておりますけれども、貧困や格差ということが大きな問題になっている社会では、災害があったらひとたまりもありません。この社会がですね、ソーシャルコヒージョンということを国連では申しますが、SDGs が目指しているような誰も置き去りにしない、Leave no one behind ということのために、協力するということが、災害にとっては、災害の時には非常に重要になってまいります。誰も置き去りにしない秘訣は何でしょうか。最初に一番置き去りにされそうな人のところに行って面倒を見ることです。Reach the furthest to be found first。そうすると、その方が助かる限りは他の方も助かるわけです。そういった SDGs の根底にある考え方、いざという時に人の前を照らすことができるか、人の前を明るく照らすことができる人は、自分の目の前はいつも明るいものです。そういった、Leave no one behindの考え。もう一つがですね、テクノロジーということなんですけども、今東北大学の災害科学国際研究所でもさまざまな研究がされていますが、誰もが持っているスマホ、ここから集まってくるビッグデータによってですね、災害の時に非常に迅速に、しかも効果的に、支援を提供することが可能になります。またそれを見て、災害の実際に危険に巻き込まれそうな人、津波が襲ってくるときにどっちに逃げたらいいか、それをですね知ることができます。こういったですねテクノロジーを、政府、内閣府さんの力も借りて、また各自治体の力も借りてですね、使い方、それから普及をですね進めていただくことが非常に大事だと思います。そのような高度都市化された社会のですね、ハイパーリスク、特に、輸送、電車止まっちゃいます。それからテレコミュニケーション、電話が使えなくなったらどうするか。それから、そういった時に企業の方々が、普段の活動を止めてしまうと、これで一層災害ひどくなりますから、いわゆるビジネスコンティニュイティプランですね。いざという時の、自分の仕事、これ行政が一番大事だと思いますけども、これを続けていくためにはどうしたらいいか、事務所から離れたところでも自分の責任を果たすためにはどうしたらいいかということを、ビジネスコンティニュイティプラン、考えていくことが大事で、そのために必要なテクノロジーをどんどん活用していくということが大事だと思います。
Okay, thank you very much. Your 2 points, identifying the social cohesion at first, and then improve the data critical condition, and then at first, and then the very similar point, make a maximum use of the science and technology, innovative science and technology in society, in collaboration with society. Okay, we have been working only among the panelists. I'm sorry, we have not enough time for discussing with floor. So the two panelists, Dr. Musha and Mr. Nakamura, introduced their experiences and their perspective of the mutual help, mutual support and self-help, and how to collaborate based on their experiences in their country. And Ms. Pan and Mr. Kondo introduced very similar aspects at the regional scale and the global scale. And finally, they summarize what kind of critical action we need to take. So empowerment of the community and preparedness, but we need to consideration their situation, including the urbanization effect or aging effect, and their essential social cohesion. Such kind of the point should be considered, and make a maximum use of the innovative science and technology in society in collaboration with society, including the BCP, etc. Second, and Ms. Pan identified several critical points. The critical point should be addressed, and scaling up and integration. And with regard to the collaboration, I think all of the speakers mentioned that regional collaboration or regional platform is very effective. So not only one country, but the collaboration among the country in the region should be strengthened. So this is our discussion summary. I'm sorry, 80 minutes passed. So we have to summarize. We have to conclude the session. But finally, I would invite the Ms. Desire for her introduction to the new brochure.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At the end of this session, I would like to celebrate the launching of the brochure from the Cabinet Office. This brochure is about the experience we learned from our past disasters, especially the torrential rain in 2017 in Kyushu. This brochure was published initially in Japanese to share the information to the citizens, but we also felt that it's very important to reach out to people, those who are visiting Japan or for those who are living in Japan from foreign countries. So thank you very much for your kindness. And this brochure is available at the gate of this conference. And please return your headset and take this brochure. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.